Hello and welcome to Epiphytic Cacti. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about the epiphyllum hybrid Sierra Thompson. This is one of my favorite hybrids. According to the Epiphyllum Society of America registry, Sierra Thompson was registered in 2005. It was hybridized by Derek Obayashi. The description reads, the inner petals are pink with orange outer petals, double wide open form, tall flat growth. The flower size is large. The seed parent or mother was 3 oranges, and the pollen parent or father was American Sweetheart. Sierra Thompson's a really good grower. It is, however, an upright grower. Like a lot of times we actually see the epiphyllum where they'll be pendant like this, where the branches will hang. This one does not do that. So if you get this one, you do have to have some method of supporting those upright branches. And you can kind of see how it grows, like some of the growth is actually flat, some of it's 3-angled. It's really pretty growth because the flowers, they're not super large. They're actually smaller than you would think. Like, I think that when you see pictures, particularly of hybrids that are more like this, there's something about their grandiose that, they seem much bigger than they actually are in photographs. So this is not a huge hybrid. You can see when I put my hand in here, it's smaller than I think what it appears, especially in a photograph or on camera. So it's really beautiful. It is, by all appearances, very easy to flower. It has been for me. But then again, I actually purchased this plant, I think, last year, and I purchased it as a plant. So I purchased it as kind of a small plant, and it did put on new growth and everything last year. It bloomed last year when I got it, but I'm pretty sure that's only because it actually had buds on it. So those buds, they just survived and then they opened. So it did bloom the first year that I had it, but not because of anything that I did. It's a fast grower. It's a good grower. It's a clean grower. The only thing that I've ever really noticed with this hybrid is that there is some like modeling colors on the back orange petals, but I've also kind of had some issues where this hybrid here, whenever it blooms, it's always the rainy season. So it gets rained on so much before it blooms. And then some of these blooms actually got a little bit stuck. That's the other funny thing. This kid is super, super easy to bullnose if those buds, like as they're trying to open, get hot or too much rain on them. It will cause the petals to sort of stick together. And it makes sense because this is one where you can see it's got a lot of petals. There are a lot of petals, and the shape of it is really interesting. And so what happens is those little petals, they just get kind of stuck. And it'll just bullnose and come out like either really, really short, or you'll have to help it open. That is something to be kind of aware of with this guy, because you'll be sorely disappointed if you get a bud and then, it rains and it gets too hot and then it doesn't open, especially because missing this one flower would be just a travesty. So let's zoom in and take a closer look at the flowers here. From a side view, you can see one of the most remarkable traits about Sierra Thompson is actually these back petals. So the back petals are very, very orange, whereas like the front petals are very pink. And if you only look at this hybrid like straight on, you would swear that you'd probably mistake it for its father, American Sweetheart. If you only saw it in a photograph, that is until you look at the side view of it, because then you see these beautiful back petals, these orange back petals that just fall backwards so gracefully. It's just gorgeous how they do that. It's kind of unusual because more often than not, like most hybrids are most beautiful from the front view. This is a hybrid that's more beautiful from its side view. Out of all the flowers that I've seen bloom, Sierra Thompson is my favorite. It's just hands down my favorite. There's something about that combination. There's something about that shape. There's just something about, like, it's a little bit wild. It's a little bit crazy. I just kind of really love this hybrid. You can see the inner petals here. They're just very, very pink. So from a front-on kind of view, it just has such a strong tendency to look so much more like its dad. You don't really get those outer petals, but what you do get is a solid wall of a lot of pink petals. And they're very pink. Like on the first day when they open for me, they're actually very light pink. And then as time goes on, these petals become darker and darker on the inside. You can see that there is like kind of a little bit of a mid-striping going on here. It's just a very minor, like little orange mid-stripe. And then, you know, those back petals, of course, just being very orange. You can see the color difference going on here between that pink and then it just going straight into just a very, very vibrant orange. There you go. There's a really good look at those back petals there. You know, again, they're just that just really, really vibrant, beautiful orange, and they definitely like splay back very strongly. They don't at first. Sometimes I notice that the shape of this flower can get a little bit strange and a little bit variable. Like sometimes they don't go way back at first, and then as time goes on, they'll start splaying even further and further. And then as the flower starts to wilt, they'll kind of come back some. So we can see the plant here, and it's really not a very big plant. It's not humongous by any stretch of the imagination. But what it is doing is having the ability to produce blooms like this where they're bigger and they have so many petals and stuff. It just takes more energy to produce that kind of bloom. So it's a good bloomer for sure. On my plant, I've definitely noticed that it's one to cork. So I do notice that there is always some like corking kind of going on here. So it's a little, it's quirky. Yeah, so that's just a really beautiful display, and that's actually the last of my epiphyllum flowers for this season. So definitely kind of went out with a bang, at least for the regular season. I hope you've enjoyed the epiphyllum hybrid Sierra Thompson as much as I have. Thank you for watching, and happy cacti growing.